Hey, welcome back. In my last video, I actually unboxed this Unified Comfort panel. I'm going to be powering it on in this video and showing you the startup screens and the splash startup configuration without a project before you would actually connect to it with TIA Portal. So there's several configuration and diagnostics tools, which I'll be highlighting for you. Also, I have this weird angle so that you can actually see the screens, and I'll be looking forward at a monitor I have, so don't think that I'm in this strange angle for nothing. All right, so I'm gonna go and power this on now. Get the new Siemens, the graphics that I think are showed in MindSphere and other IoT applications, which I think they're really cool. I like their choice. Okay. So here's a view of the startup apps. This is pretty different than what you might be familiar with Comfort. And there's several different options here that I wanted to highlight a few. I think that one that really stood out to me when I first started this up kind of offline here was the idea of the security screen. And this allows you to put certificates on it and you do user management in the background with this panel. And this really goes along with the kind of idea that has been displayed in TIA Portal very strongly recently, which is a very strong focus on security, and Siemens is very serious about industrial security. And I think that that's definitely the right choice because that is all of our responsibility, make sure that our manufacturing is secure. So this allows you to have some capability without doing anything else, it's already built in. And I think that that's like a very important aspect of a device that's for our next generation of HMIs. You have a lot of standard kind of things. You do have the ability, I believe it's in service and commissioning, to do backups, and that was with the system SD card that I pointed out in the last video. And then the last one, which is I think really the exciting part of the unified panel in general, is that it also functions as an edge device. And what that means is that besides it being an HMI touchscreen, right, that you would think of as a basic HMI, you can also use the computing power of the PC that the touchscreen is running on to do additional calculations or data analysis and send it to the cloud or wherever your internal data centers that you wouldn't necessarily do on the PLC, or you could connect to multiple devices and have the HMI act as a hub of processing. The apps concept is kind of like what you would think of with like the App Store, where you could create custom applications that extend the functionality of the HMI itself and use the computing power. And I think it is a really good idea because one of the things that I've always found extremely frustrating about pretty much any HMI platform is that there's something in it of the baseline functionality that just doesn't work well enough for what you need for that particular application. And what the app's concept would allow you to do is to expand that baseline functionality, such as like trends, for example, where you need to have more detailed trends. You could create your own app for it or load on an app that has more capability than what the baseline software of the HMI software would have. There's also a few base add-ons that you can do here. That's separate from this edge environment, but the Somatic Edge is a separate license, and that's the custom development that I was talking about. And there's a kind of whole ecosystem that Siemens is developing that is bringing in this concept of Somatic Edge. Outlier is actually very excited to kind of dig into this development for Somatic Edge and hopefully create some of our own custom apps themselves. In future videos, I'm going to be showing how to deploy edge apps on this device and actually get some data into the cloud or something like that. So besides the semantic edge in future videos, I'm actually going to show, just as a basic HMI device, what you would think of as a traditional HMI, and connect it to a PLC, and also highlight the scripting capabilities of the unified panel, which involves JavaScript and the HTML5 basis for coding, which allows a lot more flexibility of programming and showing graphics. And I think that is important as well, because frankly, operators and anyone that just walks up to an HMI needs to be able to have direction as to what's going on with a machine. And if you have more tools to be able to flexibly create them, repeatably create them, and explain what's going on, that is always a plus. So I'm very excited to be able to highlight the concepts in Unified in my next videos, and I hope you join me.